Seattle, celebrated for its thriving economy and tech powerhouses, hides a grimmer reality often overlooked. Beneath the gleaming headquarters of Amazon and Microsoft, countless individuals survive in tents beneath overpasses and on city sidewalks.
I've been here ever since there's been a tent here. I've been on every corner of the block, even though I was told that I was gonna get housing. They never followed up or pretty much done anything except for hand out some snacks.
From recently unemployed residents to struggling families, Seattle's homeless population stands as a clear sign that growth doesn't benefit everyone equally. This video closely examines Seattle's homelessness crisis, uncovering its causes, the human cost, and the potential solutions to reverse it. The time has come to confront this challenge that affects not only Seattle, but the entire nation. The faces behind the crisis, stories of struggle and resilience. Seattle's homelessness emergency mirrors the sharp contrast between the city's soaring affluence and those who've been excluded. In 2025, the King County Regional Homelessness Authority documented 16,868 individuals experiencing homelessness across King County, marking a 23% jump since 2022. More than half of these people, over 9,800, remain without shelter, residing in tents, vehicles, or building entrances.
It really sucks. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I really don't want to be homeless. I'm tired of it. I mean, it's been over 10 years, and I'm just burned out.
Included in this group are children, around 10%, whose lives are defined not by playgrounds, but by instability and struggle. Veterans, many battling post-traumatic stress, seek refuge in places like Pioneer Square, their service overlooked. The elderly also endure increasing insecurity in a city overflowing with wealth. Racial disparities play a central role in this emergency. Black residents, just 7% of Seattle's population, make up 19% of the homeless, while Native Americans, under 1% of the population, account for 7%. These statistics expose entrenched systemic problems reaching far beyond homelessness itself. Mental illness impacts 30% of Seattle's homeless population, and 20% face addiction challenges, yet treatment resources are scarce and underfunded. Think for a moment about the children part of nearly 150,000 homeless youth nationwide who reside in improvised shelters within Seattle's Chinatown International District. Encampments beside I-5 stand as visible scars of the crisis, turning once vibrant neighborhoods into scenes of despair. Veterans like those found in Cal Anderson Park bear the weight of untreated wounds, their sacrifices neglected. This crisis isn't merely about statistics, it's about human lives, parents, employees, visionaries. Each person is entangled in a complex mesh of financial struggles, racial injustice, and personal turmoil. As we continue exploring the role of addiction in this crisis, we invite your input. How can Seattle, a hub of creativity and progress, better close the divide between prosperity and the plight of its homeless population? Share your views in the comments below. Addiction's grip, how substance abuse fuels homelessness. Before examining the wider drivers of homelessness, we must first face the brutal truth of addiction, a force that not only sparks homelessness, but perpetuates it. In Seattle, about 20% of the homeless community battles substance abuse with opioids, especially fentanyl at the forefront. This goes beyond mere data. It's a human catastrophe, a relentless loop that keeps people on the streets. Addiction often starts harmlessly through prescribed painkillers or coping mechanisms for trauma, but rapidly escalates, destroying careers, housing, and family ties. Consider James, a man in his 40s, who once thrived as a chef in Seattle's bustling dining industry. Following a job injury, he received opioid prescriptions that quickly led to dependence. Within a year, he lost employment, his residence, and his loved ones, eventually living in a tent near Occidental Park. James's experience isn't an exception. Throughout Seattle, discarded syringes and overdose emergencies are alarmingly frequent, especially in Pioneer Square and the Chinatown International District. Even though the city allocates roughly $200 million annually to substance abuse-related healthcare, only 10% of homeless individuals access treatment, a glaring failure of policy and compassion. Addiction devastates not only individuals but entire communities. Residents increasingly report minor crimes, theft, and vandalism frequently connected to desperate attempts to secure money for drugs. This fuels division, setting neighbors against the very people most in need of support. What does it reveal about society when we let addiction imprison so many in despair? The truth is unsettling. We've fallen short in offering effective, accessible recovery programs, leaving people like James trapped in dependency and homelessness. Fentanyl has made the crisis worse, its cheap potency driving overdose spikes and straining emergency responders. For those living unsheltered, addiction is both a root cause and a result of homelessness, making recovery unattainable without stable housing. While some services exist, including small clinics and mobile units, they're underfunded, overstretched, and often out of reach for those who need them most. Until addiction is effectively addressed, resolving homelessness in Seattle will remain an uphill struggle. The root causes unpacking Seattle's housing and inequality crisis. To grasp why Seattle's homelessness emergency endures, we must look beneath the surface, where addiction is merely one element of a broader issue. The leading factor is the housing shortage, a national challenge that impacts Seattle with particular severity. Between 2021 and 2024, rental prices surged by 20%, with the average one-bedroom apartment now costing over $2,000. At the same time, a minimum wage of $16.28 per hour falls far short of meeting essential housing needs. Affordable housing is scarce, and elevated mortgage rates of 6.85% in 2024 have pushed home ownership further out of reach. This lack of housing is a central reason for the increase in homelessness nationwide, as families and individuals can't maintain stability. Widening economic inequality, intensified by Seattle's thriving tech economy, further amplifies the divide. The wealth generated by Amazon, Microsoft, and other firms hasn't benefited low-wage workers. Instead, it has inflated living expenses, leaving many struggling. This growing gap has also worsened racial inequities. Black Americans, Native Americans, and other marginalized groups are overrepresented in the homeless population due to legacies like redlining, which deliberately blocked stable housing opportunities. These communities, already disadvantaged, continue to experience higher homelessness rates, exposing persistent systemic injustices. The effects of the COVID-19 pandemic still persist. Job losses, eviction waves, and the expiration of federal rent relief programs forced many into homelessness. Mental health conditions affecting 30% of Seattle's unhoused population remain largely untreated due to a fractured and underfunded healthcare network. Climate-related disasters such as wildfires and floods have displaced additional residents, worsening pressure on an already strained housing system. Migration to Seattle, once viewed as a pathway to prosperity, has also fueled the problem as newcomers are rapidly priced out. Addiction, as discussed earlier, magnifies these forces, creating a relentless cycle of instability. But the pressing question remains, is this crisis driven by lack of political will, flawed strategies, or societal neglect? The reality is that it stems from all three. Seattle's considerable wealth could form part of the remedy, yet it remains underutilized. Policies, while often well-intentioned, frequently lack coordination and long-term impact. The outcome is a city where affluence and deprivation sit side by side, and homelessness serves as a powerful reminder that priorities must be reconsidered. Voices from the streets, real lives, real struggles. Seattle's homelessness crisis isn't just numbers. It's a tapestry of personal stories filled with pain, resilience, and systemic failure. Consider Maria, a single mother raising 2 children. She once held a retail job in a bustling Seattle shopping center. Following a car crash, her pain medication prescription evolved into an opioid dependency. Within a few months, she lost both her employment and her home. Today, she and her kids reside in a tent near the Chinatown International District, their possessions crammed into bags, facing an uncertain future. Maria's experience represents many others where individual misfortune meets institutional obstacles. Then there's Robert, a Vietnam veteran in his late 70s. He sleeps in a worn sleeping bag near Denny Park, battling PTSD and alcohol addiction. He feels forgotten by the nation he served. I fought for freedom, he says bitterly, but where's my freedom now? His journey, like countless others, illustrates the human cost of homelessness, where psychological illness, addiction, and financial hardship converge. Roughly 30% of Seattle's unhoused individuals suffer from mental health disorders, while 20% fight substance abuse, yet adequate care remains inaccessible. These figures represent far more than data. They are human beings who've slipped through society's gaps. Yet even in adversity, resilience shines through. People like Maria cling to the hope of rebuilding, turning to programs that offer housing assistance or job skills. Others, like Robert, find comfort in shared humanity, distributing food and supporting fellow homeless individuals. These accounts remind us that homelessness doesn't determine worth. Their humanity does. The question is, how do we bridge Seattle's economic prosperity with the unseen struggles of those living on its margins? How can we make sure individuals like Maria and Robert are not abandoned? These are questions that demand collective answers. The ripple effects. How homelessness impacts every corner of Seattle. Seattle's homelessness emergency has a wide-reaching impact touching every sector of the city. Financially, the expenses are staggering. Between 2015 and 2023, the city invested over $1 billion in homelessness initiatives, including shelters and outreach. Yet the costs extend well beyond those numbers. Medical expenditures tied to untreated addiction and mental illness, alongside emergency responses to overdoses and encampment incidents, heavily burden public systems. In 2024 alone, Seattle directed $200 million towards substance abuse healthcare, underscoring the deep link between addiction and homelessness. On a social level, the crisis intensifies its friction. In communities like Pioneer Square and Capitol Hill, locals have reported more petty theft, shoplifting, and vandalism, often tied to individuals seeking funds for drugs. While these actions don't represent the entire homeless population, they provoke fear and resentment, creating divides between vulnerable groups and those who feel endangered. Businesses are suffering too. Districts with prominent encampments experience falling foot traffic as both visitors and residents steer clear of streets lined with tents and scattered needles. This undermines Seattle's image as a lively, inviting city, replacing it with scenes of visible hardship and distress. Culturally, Seattle faces an internal reckoning. The city, celebrated for its progressive ethos and environmental awareness, struggles to align its green reputation with encampments occupying parks and highway edges. The homeless in America, especially in Seattle, stand as a clear reminder of promises left unmet in a place where innovation thrives, but empathy sometimes lags. This sparks an essential question. How can Seattle reconcile its vision of progress with the urgent needs of its most at-risk residents? The solution isn't blame. It's shared responsibility, acknowledging that this crisis belongs to everyone. How can we collectively rise to meet it? A path forward, bold solutions to break the cycle of homelessness. Seattle has not remained passive in confronting this crisis. Over the last 10 years, both the city and King County have introduced multiple programs, some yielding progress, others exposing the limits of good intention. A notable achievement is the development of tiny home villages, compact prefabricated units that have provided safe shelter to more than 2,000 individuals since 2020. These communities deliver stability and an essential first step for those working to rebuild their lives. Additionally, resident-run encampments where people self-organize and support each other have emerged as empowering spaces that foster dignity amid hardship. Yet these advances are often eclipsed by setbacks. In 2022, funding reductions led to the closure of 15 shelters, forcing 300 people back into homelessness. Programs targeting addiction, a major contributor to homelessness, reach only 10% of those who need help, constrained by limited resources and long delays. Seattle's 2018 head tax on major corporations such as Amazon, designed to fund housing and services, encountered strong resistance and was reduced, weakening its effectiveness. These shortcomings expose a fundamental problem: the absence of coordinated long-range planning. Although individual initiatives hold promise, they often function in isolation, unable to address the crisis's full complexity. Furthermore, the emphasis on temporary solutions, shelters, and emergency funding has fallen short of matching the scale of the challenge. Addiction treatment, mental health care, and affordable housing demand Sustained investment, but funding is frequently shifted toward immediate concerns like sanitation or law enforcement. This fragmented approach leaves critical gaps, especially for those struggling with addiction or mental illness. What will it take to move past short-term fixes and construct a system that genuinely works? The solution lies in ambitious, united efforts harnessing Seattle's wealth and innovation to deliver lasting change. A call to action. Can Seattle lead the way in solving homelessness? Seattle's homelessness crisis, much like the wider issue of homelessness throughout the United States, demands more than compassion. It calls for tangible action. Short-term efforts can offer immediate support, but they're insufficient on their own. Expanding addiction treatment access, for instance, could help thousands break free from destructive cycles. Mobile health units and no-cost rehab programs could reach those in encampments, providing a critical step toward recovery. Reinstating rental assistance programs, which proved effective during the COVID-19 crisis, could also prevent displacement and keep families housed. Though these initiatives don't solve the problem permanently, they provide essential lifelines for those in need. Lasting change, however, hinges on bold, long-term planning. Seattle should commit to constructing 10,000 affordable housing units within 5 years, an achievable goal given its financial capacity. Pairing these homes with on-site mental health and addiction services would offer a solid base for individuals to rebuild. Seattle can also partner with tech powerhouses like Amazon and Microsoft to tap into funding and innovation. Picture a scenario where corporations help fund housing developments or workforce programs, leveraging their success to address a crisis they've indirectly shaped. Equally crucial is community participation. Initiatives like neighbor sponsorships, where residents mentor and support homeless individuals, can foster connection and responsibility. These grassroots movements, when combined with policy reforms, could redefine Seattle's response to homelessness. The city has the opportunity to emerge as a national leader, proving that empathy and innovation together can tackle one of the country's most urgent challenges. The question remains, can Seattle step up and become a model for confronting homelessness in America? The answer lies in our shared determination to act and create lasting change. Conclusion. Seattle stands at a pivotal moment where its booming skyline clashes with the harsh truth playing out on its streets. The homelessness crisis, fueled by addiction, inequality, and a broken housing system, reflects the broader struggle seen across America. Yet there is reason for optimism. Through dedicated investment in affordable housing, expanded addiction treatment, and strong community-led efforts, Seattle has the opportunity to pave the way for genuine transformation. It's time to create a future where no one must sleep beneath a bridge, where every personal story marked by hardship can find resolution in hope and opportunity. The moment for decisive action has arrived. Let's unite to make it a reality.